Hi everybody, it's Whitney from All the Shelves. I'm here today to film a Friday Reads / what I am going to be reading on vacation. So this video I'm going to talk about not only what I'm going to be reading this upcoming weekend, but I have a full week of vacation planned, and I'll talk about the books that I'm bringing with me. So this vacation is not really a reading vacation. It is going to be full of things that I'm doing. So maybe in that way it's more of a trip than a vacation. So first of all, I am going to see Bruce Springsteen on Sunday in Oakland, California, and I am ridiculously excited. This will be my first time seeing him. If you've been watching my channel at all, you'll know that I am an obsessive, crazy, nerdy, just insane fan of Bruce Springsteen, and I'm going to be seeing him, and it's the River Tour, so he's playing his full River album and then like 8 songs afterwards, and I'm just like really stoked. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to focus my brain enough to read before then, or maybe reading will help me focus. I don't know. Like you can see, I'm rambling. I'm so crazy excited for it. Then I am going straight from Oakland to Orlando, and I'm going to Disney World. This will be my first time at Disney World. I love Disneyland. Who doesn't love Disneyland? And there is a conference down in Orlando that I'm presenting a paper on. I'm talking about Wonder Woman and the Sublime. Who cares? The really important thing is that I'm going to Disneyland for 3 days. So in the kind of spaces between and in the flights across the country, I will be doing some reading, but I anticipate that I'm going to be mostly exhausted. Regardless, I can never go anywhere without bringing a book, so let me show you the books that I'm reading and planning to take with me. So after all that excitement in the first part of my video, I am now ready for a real downer. The book that I am reading for my studies right now is called Better for All the World: The Secret History of Forced Sterilization and America's Quest for Racial Purity by Harry Brewenius. So I think a lot of people aren't really aware of America's history with eugenics. In 1916, Madison Grant published a book called The Passing of the Great Race, which was a racial history, he said, of Europe. And in the book, he very famously said that people from Eastern and Southern European descent were not as good as people from Northern and Western racial descent, and not as good encompassed a lot of things morally, socially, intelligence, and build, like all of it, right? And a lot of people in America immediately embraced those ideas of eugenics. And before Madison Grant, Francis Galton, Darwin's cousin, also had these ideas that British aristocracy is just better than everybody else because of their actual genes, right? That it was mostly nature, not so much nurture. Nurture was this like superficial and transient quality, but nature was what people were really determined to do as a race. So obviously this led to horrific immigration policies, and in the United States, a bunch of states, I think 30 states, I believe, passed laws that allowed for forced sterilization of inmates and people who were institutionalized. And you were institutionalized not just for mental deficiencies, as they called it, but also for moral deficiencies, like women who had babies out of wedlock. They were subject to forced sterilization, and this continued all throughout the 20s and 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It continued into the 70s. So when people frame World War II as this moral war of the righteous United States versus the evil Germany or Japan, it gets quite complicated when you remember that Hitler called Madison Grant's book, Passing of the Great Race, his Bible. So very disturbing things going on in this book. I'm about 100 pages into it. I have some background with history of eugenics, and I've thought about these things a lot, but this book is also very engaging. It's talking about some case studies, like the first woman to be the subject of a court case of forced sterilization in Virginia, and it just makes the subject full of pathos and very exciting to read, and while at the same time it's very disturbing. So I need to be reading this for class. I can't take a complete break over the next week because I am coming up on graduation and I need to actually publish this dissertation. So I will be reading this on the plane, and hopefully people don't think I'm like a psychopath as they see me. There are two books that I'm going to be trying to finish up before I leave for vacation, and they're both very short, and I'm about a third of the way through both. So the first one is Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me. I'm sure that you have all heard a million things about this. This is Ta-Nehisi Coates writing a letter to his son about what it means to be Black in the United States today, and especially so far in the book, it's about what it means to have a Black body and to have to protect that Black body against institutions of power like the police. So I will hopefully be able to finish that before I leave because it's due at the library. The next one I need to finish up before I leave on my trip is called The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea by Yukio Mishima. I have only read The Temple of Dawn before, so this is my second Mishima book, and we are reading this for Readers Inc., which is Conrad at Just a Dust Jacket's book club. And people have been posting on the Goodreads book like crazy. There's so many comments. I haven't quite been able to keep up yet with all the commenting, and I haven't been able to comment on all the chapters. So I really want to finish this before I leave, kind of take the week to gather my thoughts, and then actually make a video about the book and what I thought of it. Typical to Mishima, from what I understand, it's quite disturbing. It's interested in aesthetics and violence, and I wouldn't say that I am enjoying the process of reading it, but I am certainly finding it very interesting. And I have a couple books that I will be reading on the plane and taking with me on vacation. The first one is The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. I have this downloaded on my Kindle because it was free. It's a classic. It is supposed to be something that inspired the modern detective novel, or the classic detective novel. So I'm obviously interested in those kinds of things if you have watched my other videos, and I am participating in Mysteries in March and March Mystery Madness by reading as many mysteries as I can. So I thought that this one would be a really good one to take with me. It's also very long, so that should hopefully keep me occupied. And just in case I am being way too ambitious by taking a classic with me on an airplane, I am also bringing a copy of Terry Pratchett's Masquerade. I've been reading the Witches series in the Discworld books, and this I believe is the 5th one in that series, and I read the description and it says that these witches are going to go to the opera. So I love when they talk about being cultured and all the things that they need to do to be cultured, so I am so looking forward to reading about them at the opera. It's going to be ridiculous. I have been really enjoying these Discworld books, so I might upload a couple of them onto my Kindle to take with me on the trip, or maybe I'll play it by ear. I guess I'll have internet access on the trip. Do you guys get like this when you go on vacation? You are so anxious about which books you're going to read, as though there aren't books everywhere. Now with e-readers, there are literally books in your pocket, as many books as you want. But I still have all of this anxiety about but what if I'm in the mood for a thriller? What if I'm in the mood for a play? What happens if I need some poetry? What on earth will I do? Well, I'll look it up on my phone. It's not a big deal. I don't know what my problem is. Okay, so those are the books that I am reading this weekend and for the next week. I probably won't be uploading any videos for a full week because I will be focusing on having the best time ever. And wish me luck at this conference that I am presenting at. I get really scared to present at conferences, even though I've done a bunch of them, but it is intimidating, and I need all the help I can get. I will be checking my comments though, and I've been really grateful to get the comments that I have been. So let me know what you've been reading and what you will be reading, and I will see you in about a week. Bye!